Hello and welcome. We are back at it again. I am so excited that you chose to listen to another episode of Mental Health, the New Wealth. I am your host, Nikita Nicole, the Illuminist, and today we're going to talk about a topic that affects us all, young, old, wealthy, or financially challenged. There is no economic status, political position, or facet of life that this topic does not affect. It is directly related to all of us and how we function on an everyday basis, and especially plays a major part in our mental health and how we show up as ourselves and for ourselves and others on an everyday basis. Today, we're going to discuss one of my favorite pastimes, and people may beg to differ, but we're going to discuss today sleep. Sleep, rest, sleep deprivation, and how this affects our everyday lives. So sit back, relax, and let's get into this episode. Before we get into this episode, let me say that I am not a licensed mental health professional nor doctor, although I will host licensed professionals as guests from time to time. The mental health difficulties discussed on this podcast will come from extensive research, life experiences of myself and others, and are not to be taken as diagnosis, prescription, or cure to any health mental difficulties or disorders. If you are experiencing deep mental health difficulties of any kind and have lasted for any duration of time, please contact your local mental health professional for assistance with treatment. If you or someone you know is suffering with mental distress or thoughts of suicide, you are not alone. Please call the toll-free National Suicide Prevention Hotline, open 24/7 at 1-800-273-8255. Again, that is 1-800-273-8255. Now let's get into the episode. Sleep is defined as a time period where the mind, body, and nervous system are inactive or partially suspended in order to recharge and regain the body's ability to sustain itself. Rest is defined as the ability to cease work or movement in order to refresh, recharge, and restore strength and the ability to move forward. The definition of deprivation is to be deprived of something. So sleep deprivation is lack of sleep and or rest. We are on another episode of Mental Health, the New Wealth, and today we're going to talk about sleep, rest, and sleep deprivation and how that affects our everyday lives. There has been so many changes in this last 2 years so far as the pandemic and how things are changing, how the world is moving forward. And I have just been noticing that I have been exhausted. Right? I have been tired. The days are going by faster. Things are changing without notice. And I think that me wanting to stay ahead with everything and just continue functioning as I have been, or just staying up to par with all of these changes, have been taking a major toll on me. And I'm sure that you guys can resonate with some aspects of that as well in your everyday lives. So, because of this, I have suffered from insomnia, anxiety, and my sleep has been affected in so many more ways than one. So, when we're dealing with sleep or the lack thereof, which is sleep deprivation, what does that look like in our everyday lives? I know how it's affecting me in my everyday life, but how does it affect you, and why are you experiencing issues with your sleep, or you're not getting the sleep or the rest that you truly need? There are so many qualifying life changes as to why your sleep has recently or has always been affected, whether it's a change in environment, change in diet, whether you have a new relationship, a new child in your life, you just had a baby, postpartum, depression. There are so many things that can affect your sleep schedule and your sleep pattern. So let's identify some of those ways that these changes can show up in our lives on a regular basis. Are you playing the superhero? Always having to go over and above, being everything for everyone and having an issue with saying no? Are you overworking yourself? Taking on tasks that you know is too much for you? Do you have bad sleeping habits, not giving yourself a steady bedtime, which is something that I definitely experience and go through? Although I know I need to be in bed by 10 o'clock, normally that does not happen, which just sets me back on my sleep schedule altogether. Are you suffering from depression, worry, insomnia? Are these things affecting you being able to get to sleep and have a restful sleep? Are you on social media? Are you sitting up scrolling and scrolling for hours and then notice like, oh wow, I supposed to be in sleep a long time ago? Social media do that to you. And the algorithm will make sure that you are on there for hours looking at things that you are interested in or that you like or that you just consider to be entertaining. And 3 to 4 hours later, you laid down to rest. You are in the bed, but you have been binging for so long that now it is past 12 o'clock and you have been on social media. Are you binge watching your favorite TV program? I very seldom watch TV. I'm more of a YouTube watcher, or I select the things that I choose to watch on a regular basis. But sometimes we can get carried away. No lie. I know Ozark just came on and I almost lost my mind. I had to tell myself, you cannot watch all these episodes in one sitting. Give yourself some time. Or is it things that are outside of you that you can't really regulate? Is it your children? Do you have a household or a routine where people are up, or you have a spouse where you guys have different sleep schedules to where you can't get to sleep at a regular time? Are you talking on the phone to the wee hours of the night? Are you eating too late so your body is having to digest food and different things of that nature too late? Are you drinking caffeinated drinks or eating things that have caffeine to where you just cannot get to sleep at a reasonable hour? Statistics show that adults need about 7 to 9 hours of sleep every night on a regular basis. And children, depending on their activities, need more sleep than the standard adult. So, which of these reasons for you are causing you not to get ample sleep or ample enough rest? Sometimes it's not even about just actually going to sleep. It's about resting. It's about ceasing to move or do extra activities and just sit and rest. Sit and take a breather and collect yourself. You must do that first and foremost before you even are able to go to sleep. Are you allowing yourself the ample amount of rest to be even able to go forward and move forward into sleep? So let's talk about the ways in which the habits and behaviors that we create on an everyday basis affect how we respond emotionally, mentally, and physically to sleep deprivation. Sleep deprivation can induce depression, anxiety, may increase manic and bipolar behavior and disorders, may have a dramatic effect and induce imbalance in your emotions, causing you to be irritable, suffer from fatigue. It can also reduce patience and empathy with yourself and others. It can cause increased avoidable mistakes and irrational decisions. It can dramatically affect you by causing lack of concentration and focus, increasing forgetfulness. When you do finally get to sleep, it can affect you in not allowing you to have deep sleep, not getting to your REM sleep or your rapid eye movement sleep, which is the sleep that influences dreaming. And that was something really deep that I experienced because I noticed that as I was younger, I dreamt dreams a lot. I was able to dream, I was able to recall my dreams. But as I got older, and start living life, having the responsibilities of every, adult, I started to dream less. I noticed that even when I did dream, they were short and I wasn't able to remember my dreams. I do believe that that was due to lack of making sure that I got ample enough rest, which reduced the level of how deep I was able to go to sleep. Or sometimes I would sleep so hard that I couldn't recall anything that I dreamt about or that I thought about during that sleep. I can also resonate with the ideal of you having reduced patience or empathy, especially if you have children, which I don't, but just in general, when you don't get any sleep, the level of fucks that you are able to give during the day is just not there. It is greatly reduced, or there are none given at all. And on a regular basis, especially with self-preservation, and just making sure that you are tuned in mentally, physically, spiritually on any given day. However, you don't want to become unempathetic and not care about what you say, not care about a person's feelings, all because you did not get a good night's rest or you continually have bad sleeping schedules. Also, not having sleep can affect your emotional stability. On a regular basis, I'm a pretty upbeat, spunky person. I'm really chill and even tempered. But when I don't get any rest, I'm a little Grinch. So I can't even lie. It's a little spicy because I don't have the capacity, the ability to show up as my best self because I'm tired. So, how many of these mental and emotional effects of sleep deprivation do you suffer from? And how does that show up in your everyday life? Let's talk about some of the physical ways that sleep deprivation can affect your life. So, physically, you can experience weight gain because your body is not able to effectively metabolize your food or the things that you eat because your sleep levels are too low. You can experience low motor skills or response times, such as not responding quick enough. So, maybe being clumsy more often, or experiencing susceptibility to having driving accidents or difficulty operating machinery or electronics. There have been a lot of fatalities and a lot of car accidents that have been happening just due to a person being sleepy, just due to a person not having enough rest. Driving while sleepy or operating machinery while you're tired is almost equivalent to drinking on the job or drunk driving. There has been some research done that compares one being tired or not having enough rest to alcohol consumption, which can be unsafe, especially for those that work in construction or have physical jobs, whether you are a hairstylist, whether you are a barber, whether you work somewhere or do something that you operate with your body physically. It's very important that you get your ample amount of sleep on a regular basis so that you can operate at the optimal levels that you need to and functioning your physical tasks daily. Some people that may be masseuse or waiters or waitresses, some people that may stand on their feet on a regular basis, or actually those who maybe work in an office or have a desk job. It's also important for you to get ample amounts of sleep so that you can function at the highest levels that you need to. Because when you're not getting ample enough sleep, you're definitely not focusing, you're making decisions that are not of the highest regard of yourself and others. It can affect you being indecisive and cause brain fogginess. Another one of the physical effects of not getting enough sleep is lower immunity, increasing chronic illness or physical recovery. And right now, in this day and time, especially dealing with this pandemic, you definitely don't want your physical recovery or your immunity to be compromised due to your sleep levels. A lot of times, when you feel achy or you feel like you're getting sick, all you need is some good rest and relaxation and ample supply of vitamins and nutrients, and most times you're back on your feet. But if you have sloppy sleep habits or don't have a regular scheduled sleep routine, then your body is not able to rest and recover as well as it should, and then your immunity is compromised, which is what we definitely don't need right now. And kind of touching back on the weight gain is very important, especially you can be working out, you can watch what you eat, you can do a lot of these things. But if you're not getting an ample enough rest, your body cannot release the fat that it has on itself, and you cannot metabolize your food and nutrients properly to allow the body to let the excess weight go. Also, your cortisol levels could be elevated due to you not getting ample enough rest, which also affects your body's ability to be able to let go of excess weight. This episode was sponsored by Cuff Your Pearls, where mental health meets makeup. Go on over to cuffyourpearls.com and shop with a brand you can not only feel with, but heal with. CYP makeup products are also affirming, vegan, and cruelty-free. Follow Cuff Your Pearls on Instagram as well as Facebook. That's CUFFYOURPEARLS.com. With all the things going on in our lives and all the things that we face on a regular basis, especially during this pandemic, it's very important that you get ample enough rest so that you can not only have the vitality and the immunity to withstand everyday occurrences or encounters with illness, but that you can also show up as your best self and operate in the greatest light possible because you are well rested and you do have a routine that works for your life. So let's look into some things that we can do on a regular, everyday basis to help us increase the quality and quantity of our sleep and allow us to function at optimal levels on a daily basis. So it's important that we look into all the senses. Your body operates and it moves and it regulates on a regular basis at such a high level that it is important for you to basically attack all the levels of your five senses so that you are able to get the best rest possible. So, what does that look like? How do we attack those senses? So, for example, you would turn off the lights or make sure that the environment, the lighting is at the level that you need it to be able to actually go to sleep. You would use aromatherapy, something that you can smell or inhale, or a candle, or, be careful with going to sleep with candles, but just something that is in the room that can give you a calm scent. I do actually like this aromatherapy, and I want to say it's by Now Essential Oil. And it's basically an essential oil that is called Sleepy Time, and it smells so good. It smells like eucalyptus, lavender, and you just rub it on your hands. You can put a little bit on your pillow, and then that smell is just so calming that you're able to go to sleep. You also can try things like different kind of non-caffeinated teas. They also have a sleepy time tea, chamomile, anything that you are just able to drink and it gives you that a calming effect. Some people are even okay with drinking warm water before bed. Whatever it is that gives you that calming effect so that you can start to get ready to drift off to sleep. It's important for you to avoid stimulus later on in the day. So if you're a coffee drinker or you like caffeinated things, then you need to make sure that you have it at the top of your day. So by the end of your day, the effects of the caffeine are worn out of your system. And make sure that you're not ingesting things that have caffeine later in the day, like chocolate or different other things that you may think innocently that they don't have caffeine, but when you look at the ingredients, in fact, they actually do. Maybe you might want to put on earplugs so that you can tune out everything that's going on. If you're a person who doesn't like to be completely quiet as you are trying to wind down and go to sleep, then maybe turn on some white noise or some waves or some raindrops or some meditation music that'll help you kind of coast off to sleep in a peaceful way. Sometimes I go to sleep with affirmations, but I have them on really, really low so that I can hear affirmations and program my subconscious for positive outlooks as I am falling to sleep. Some of the other ways that you can help yourself develop a better sleep routine is actually put yourself on a sleep schedule. Make yourself a bedtime. I know we're adults, and I know there is so many things that's going on a regular basis. There's so many things that we have to handle, but a sleep schedule would actually help you prepare yourself to get ready to go to sleep. I know that I can't just hop in the bed and go to sleep. If I do and I just fall directly to sleep, then that means that I am exhausted. And that is also not good, to just be so tired that you're exhausted. So, giving yourself a bedtime schedule will help you with that. Also, exercise and stretch. Exercising and stretching can not only relax your muscles, but actually get rid of that excess energy that you may have that may cause anxiety. It may ease worry. It may stop you from having radical thoughts that you can't go to sleep. So you can just exercise, have a nice stretch, or just implement exercise in your everyday living. So for me, I like to exercise in the morning. It jumpstart my day. It gets me ready for the day. I get too amped up if I exercise at the end of the day. So maybe if that's not for you, then you can exercise at night if you know that you'll be able to go right to sleep afterward. But for me, I like to do my exercising in the daytime, and then I might do a little yoga, a little stretching at night to relax my body. Something that also goes with stretching at night and is really relaxing is deep breathing. Just taking time to listen and watch your breath. Just breathing in really deeply and breathing out very deeply, and just getting into the rhythm of that. That alone will slow down your body, slow down your heart rate, and then it's easier for you to drift off to sleep. Something that I love to do that is also one of my favorite pastime is bathing and moisturizing. So I know, this can't really be a hobby because it's something that we all should implement and do on a regular basis, but I love to bathe. I take about 3 to 4 baths a week, just because it's so relaxing, it's so therapeutic. You can put the sleepy time drops or essential oils in the water to get yourself ready to go to sleep. And you can just submerge yourself, submerge your worries, your thoughts in that warm water and prepare yourself for bed. After I get out of the tub and I dry off, I moisturize, y'all. Like I moisturize like crazy. I also have eczema, so it's very important that I moisturize, but I get buttery. I get real buttery. And just the process of doing that is so calming. And then I don't know about y'all, but if you go to sleep ashy, you'll be itching all night. Like it's something about ash that just make you hurt. I don't know how people could walk around and be ashy all the time, or they can just get right out the shower and don't moisturize at all. To me, that bothers my sleep. So when I'm relaxed from the nice hot water and I'm buttery and I just get in the bed and slide in the bed, then it's more easy for me to just drift off to sleep after I put my meditation music, or sometimes I just like it completely quiet. But that is something that always has worked for me. Another important thing for those of you guys who can't remove yourself from the routine of being on the phone at night because you're just scrolling is remove apps from your phone. Now, I have talked to a couple of friends of mine who do this on a regular basis, like once a quarter. They remove social media apps from their phone about a couple of weeks out of the month just to give themselves a reset so that they aren't addicted to going on social media at all times. If you can have restraint and just don't get online at night, then do that. But if you are one of the people that you always go to social media as a source of entertainment, it might be important for you to remove the app off your phone so that you can have ample enough sleep. Or there is a feature on social media apps that lets you know how long you've been on there, and then they can give you a timer for when it is time to remove yourself from the social media world. And if you don't want to be as dramatic as removing the apps off your phone, then maybe, if possible, just turn your phone off completely. Just turn your phone off. Make sure you set your alarm or put it on do not disturb. Just make your phone just less easy to use and disturb you. Also, there is a timer on most phones that you can change the light setting on your phone at a certain hour. So on my phone, when I know it gets past 10 o'clock, my setting on my screensaver goes from being a bright screensaver to a lower screensaver so that I can also visually get used to being time for me to go to bed. Soothing and relaxing about reading that it just causes me to just drift off to sleep. So that's a very good way. Now, I would never say to get yourself hooked on medication or sleep aids to go to sleep, because sometimes that can become dangerous. And we don't want to tell you to get hooked on anything as a normal behavior to how to conduct yourself in your everyday life. But something that is natural that you can take in small doses and small amounts, and maybe like skip a day or so and see how that goes, is melatonin. Find a melatonin that you can take. They have capsules, they have gummy chews, they have all different kind of melatonin that you can take, and it usually works like an hour before you get ready to go to bed. You take the melatonin, and then it's like you calmly drift off to sleep. It's not like you crash and then you wake up feeling revived. However, like any aid, If you want to take something like a melatonin, take it in a smaller dose and move up if need be. They have ones as low as 1 milligram, and then they have higher ones, but make sure you take it earlier in the day, maybe like an hour or two before you get ready to go to bed, like 8 or 9 o'clock, so that you can give yourself time to kind of settle in and settle down. After the melatonin actually takes effect, then you can ease off to sleep after you have done your bathing for the evening or whatever have you. So I hope these tips of turning the lights off, changing your phone settings, aromatherapy, tea, meditation music, developing a sleep routine, exercising and stretching, deep breathing, bathing and moisturizing really helps you to develop a better sleep schedule and routine. It's very important, and this is something that we cannot get around when living optimally in our everyday lives. It's also good for you to do because, especially if you're the head of household or you set the tone for the rest of your house, you having a good sleep routine and a sleep regimen, or making sure that you rest, is optimal for you, and it'll be optimal for those around you. But before we go, one of the very main major things in making sure that you get your rest and your relaxation is normalizing telling people no. If you tell people no, you get yourself out of the habit of always having to have the superhero syndrome, from overworking, from continuing with bad habits, with continuing with binge watching and social media. If you say no to these things, if you say no to the things that are going to exhaust you or overextend you, then you can come closer to having regular regimens and routines that work best for your life. So I'm giving you permission today on this episode to say no and hell no, depending on the circumstance. I hope this episode was really helpful for you. It gave you some clarity on what you need in your life so far as sleeping, and gave you new ideas to move forward to live your optimal life. Thank you for listening to another episode. And once again, always remember, your mental health is the new wealth. Hey now, if you are listening to this portion of this episode, that means that you have made it to the end. I appreciate your support on the Mental Health, the New Wealth podcast. It means so much to me in this portion of my journey as I stay consistent and work towards giving you topics that will not only change your perspective, but help you to gain clarity on mental health disorders and difficulties that we go through each day. It is so very important that you exercise self-love through balance. So to assist you with the portion of rest, I left you a little treat. Click the link in the episode description and enjoy. Feel free to leave a review or a message on how you like this episode. Rest well.